All right, ready? Yep. All right. All right, good morning. This is the April 12th, 2022 Cottage Grove Economic Development Authority meeting, which I'm calling to order. First order of business is roll call, so Jamie.
EDA President Bailey.
Aye.
EDA Vice President Dennis.
Here.
EDA Member Crone.
Here.
EDA Member Myers.
Here.
EDA Member Carey. EDA Member Knopp. EDA Member Thewis.
All right, thank you. Next on our agenda this morning is number 3 is approval of the minutes. 3.1 is approval of the March 16th, 2022 EDA meeting minutes. If there are no changes or corrections, I will need a motion to approve.
Mayor, everything looked good to me, so I'll make the motion to approve as is.
All right, so we have a motion by EDA Vice President Dennis,
I'll second that motion.
second by EDA Member Myers. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right, we're moving on to number 4, which is business items. 4.1 is the economic development update and business inquiries. And Gretchen, welcome, and you're going to walk us through this one.
Good morning, President Bailey and EDA members. It's a beautiful day in Cottage Grove. Happy to be here. So the first item that we have up for your consideration is an update on the Cottage Grove Logistics Park. The plan review has begun for the first 2 buildings for the North Point development, and as you can see from the notes, Building 1, just under 283,000 square feet, and Building 2, just under 493,000 square feet, is going to be the first one to be constructed. And we have sent an invitation to the EDA members and President Bailey for the May 26th groundbreaking. Next update is the Cottage Grove Apartments. The permit for the 171-unit apartment building just located off of Hardwood Avenue, just north of Anytime Fitness, has been submitted for review. Building, Engineering, and Fire have all finished their reviews, and the Planning Division has completed their review, but they're waiting on a submittal of a landscape letter of credit before the building permit can be issued. The View Apartments, the footings and foundation permit has been issued for this apartment project, also located off of Hardwood Avenue, and the rest of the 31-unit building is still under review. The Beige Book, you do not have the report for April in your packet. It is not ready, was not ready in time for us to send it out, so you'll see that at your May meeting on the 10th. Business over breakfast, I know some of you attended. It was well attended. We had 20 attendees in spite of the terrible weather that day, which I explained the weather's the one thing I cannot control. A lot of feedback from the meeting itself and then even afterwards. They're very much looking forward to a September event, and a couple of folks have already contacted us on whether or not they can present their projects at that event. So that was really good feedback. We did send out a survey, but most everybody just emailed because they had to also do the support letters, which we're going to talk about in just a moment. But it was also a great opportunity to update databases and get the new heads of CEOs and CFOs of the various companies, so that was awesome. 100th Street Extension Project, I know you are all very familiar with this, and of course we did present it at the Business Over Breakfast on March 30th. As of today, well, technically, we've now received 15 letters of support and 5 are still pending. We went ahead and set up the grants.gov account, made sure that everybody had access to it that needed it, and now the grant application deadline is the 14th, so that's Thursday close of business. Renewal by Anderson, the property closing took place on March the 30th, and the very next day, the executive director was interviewed by Finance and Commerce News about the project. So we've had at least 2 interviews in just recent days on projects in Cottage Grove. So they're excited and they know who we are now. And I'm happy to stand for any questions or turn it over to Jamie for the facade enhancements.
All right, any questions on the projects there? All right, thank you, Gretchen.
Thank you.
All right, next on our agenda under business items is 4.2, which is the 2022 Facade Improvement Program applications. And Jamie, you're back.
Thank you, President Bailey. So a little bit of background about the program. It started in 2019. It is a matching grant program. We do a 50% match up to $25,000. And it's meant to beautify buildings and kind of keep a the commercial building stock healthy in Cottage Grove. There are some criteria for awarding the grant. We do have a priority map, which you'll see on the next slide. It needs to be consistent with our comp plan, compliant with city codes, and priority is given to businesses who have not previously received the grant. As you can see on your screen, we have two priority zones on our map. The green is priority zone 1, and those are the areas of 80th Street and East Point Douglas. Also in priority zone 1 is Jamaica and East Point Douglas. There are 3 areas for priority zone 2, the southwest corner of 70th and Keats, the northwest corner of 70th and Hinton, and along West Point Douglas Road. So funding, the EDA can award up to 3 grants of $25,000. We do have a budget of $75,000. Work for the grant needs to be completed after the grant is awarded, so no work can be done previously. Also, knowing this year, the inflationary costs associated with construction materials, we are aware that estimates might not match the end price, just based on the inflationary costs of construction materials right now. So we just want to be aware that the estimates might be a little bit lower than what the final project cost is. But if we award a 50% match up to $25,000, that would be the max that you can give. So we have 4 projects that were submitted this year for the facade improvement program. The first you're seeing here is the Oak Park Commons building. It is in priority zone 1 on 80th Street. It's a multi-tenant building. They are proposing to put on new awnings, some exterior repairs, and updating their sign with a new illuminated monument sign. Their project is estimated at just over $51,000. The second project is the Shops at Almar Village. It is located on Jorgensen Lane South in priority zone 2. Another multi-tenant building, and they are proposing some landscape and lighting upgrades, painting the wood sign bases, upgrading the building and monument signs, and some exterior repairs, including some tuck pointing. Right now, the project is estimated at just under $28,000. Hound Around Resort also applied for the program. They are on West Point Douglas Road, which is priority zone 2. They are a single tenant owner occupied building, and their project was to replace the monument sign with a new digital electronic sign. The invoice they submitted for the project came in at $77,000. One thing to note with this one is they applied for the sign permit in November of '21, and work has already been completed on the sign. So as you can see in the picture on the right, that is their new sign.
It was just like last week, I believe.
It passed its final inspection on April 1st, so it's been recently completed. The final project that came in as an application is Lakeside Events. It is in Old Cottage Grove on Lamar Avenue South, which is not a priority zone. The proposed project would be to paint the building, replace the garage door with a glass garage door, refresh the landscaping, and replace the sign and exterior lighting. The overall project is estimated at just over $315,000. A couple things after talking to planning to note is this project is going to require multiple approvals from Planning Commission, City Council, and termination of a conditional use permit for the previous use, which was a landscape company, before any site improvements can be made on this property. The county has also stated that the septic system on the property, or the site may not be able to support a septic system large enough for the use at the property, so we're still waiting on an update from the property owner on if they can even have that use in the building based on septic system. So at this time, the application for the facade improvement program seems a bit premature. So I will stand for any questions.
All right, so you'll see it before you have a motion that staff is recommending, as it was in the packet, the consideration awarding Oak Park Comments and the Shops at Almar Village the opportunity to meet the matching grant. Is there any questions or comments that the EDA has on this topic? The only one question I'll ask, because I know he was kind of whispering it to my ear here, I want to make sure, is Councilmember EDA Vice President Dennis has got a business in the one, and so the question would be for staff, is it easier for him to recuse himself? Or is that the recommended? Just
President
to be
Bailey,
safe?
I would recommend, yeah, that we take two separate votes, and then he could just recuse himself for the one involving the location of his business.
Okay. Because I know you're not getting any financial impact from this, but it's the
Well,
owner of the
there
building.
will be, and that is
Yeah.
that cost will be passed on to me, but, and the other tenants there. But just for sake of making this whole thing easy, I'm just going to recuse myself from this entire process, and then you guys don't have to take two votes.
That's fine.
So
Okay.
I'm going to do that right now.
All right, sounds good. All right, so EDA, if there's any questions or comments for staff, I'll look for a motion that's before us on the screen.
I just had a quick question. So to clarify,
Yep.
the last two, the one was already completed and thus was not eligible, and the second one you believe was just premature. That's why there's only two of the four.
Correct, yep.
Yeah, it's a great question, because if you notice, we do have 75,000, so we're spending 50 of the 75, or proposing to spend 50. Okay? So if someone wants to make the motion,
I will motion to consider awarding Oak Park Commons and the shops at Almar Village an award letter and contract for each project with matching funds of up to $25,000 for any eligible expenses as part of the Façade Improvement Grant Program.
all right, so I have a motion by EDA member Carey. Do I have a second?
Second.
A second by EDA member Crone. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. We could have let you stand back there in the corner a little bit longer. I think that's what they were waiting for. They wanted to say, hey, let's all just stare at Steve for a minute. All right. That's good. Next is 5, public hearings. We actually have one this morning. And this is actually great news for a community that's been looking for more restaurants. So the 5.1 is the 7470 East Point Douglas Road land sale. And Gretchen, you'll take us through this one.
Thank you. Thank you very much. The city of Cottage Grove, as you know, has received a letter of intent from Hang LLC, and the EDA unanimously authorized execution of that on February the 8th. Just as a reminder, and the map indicates that it's approximately 0.54 acres. The purchase agreement amount is $188,179. And the parcel is Zone B2 Retail Zoning District to encourage that retail sales and services by grouping of businesses to minimize impact on the surrounding neighborhoods. I know you're very excited about this project. You see the site, proposed site plan here. It would be the future home of the Thai Gardens, which is a small family-owned business. They do have a location in Minneapolis. The building is approximately 3,000 square feet. It has indoor seating for about 100 people and outdoor seating for approximately 40. And at this time, no planning application has been received. And of course, Mayor, you said you need to hold a public hearing, and then the motion is before you.
All right, so first of all, council, see, I've already promoted all of you.
I called you mayor, it's my fault.
EDA members, any questions for Gretchen at this point before I open the public hearing? All right, I'll go ahead and open the public hearing, and I can see there's a lot of people in the audience. We're ready to speak on this item. No, there's nobody in the audience, so I will go ahead and close the public hearing, and we'll look for a motion that's before us.
I'll go ahead and motion to approve a resolution authorizing the sale of property to Hang LLC for development purposes.
All right, so I have a motion by EDA member Myers. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by EDA Vice President Dennis. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And then number 2.
Go ahead and authorize the EDA president and city administrator to execute the purchase agreement with Hang LLC for the sale of 0.54 acres for development purposes.
All right, so again, we have a motion by EDA member Myers. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by EDA member Crone. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. One comment I'll just mention, that this is for the EDA, and I know we have some new members on here. This is one of those opportunities, I think, where we took it upon ourselves to buy a blighted property, clean it up, and then sell it. And we're going to get a new restaurant proposed new restaurant out of this deal. So I just wanted to say this is one of those, I think, win-wins for the EDA in repurposing the property.
Was this the service shop that was there?
Yes, yeah, that, I think, Village Transmission, yeah, yep. All right, next on our agenda, thank you, Gretchen. Next on our agenda is other business. 6.1 is the EDA calendar. I'm assuming, I know EDA member Myers is going to be there tonight, but we do have our volunteer appreciation banquet tonight, which is the first time in a couple of years that we've been able to get the group together. I know that there's, I believe, about 180 plus people coming, so you can tell everybody's happy to get back out and meet people. Yes, and I will be too for tonight. Well, I have to MC anyway, so I guess that's the point. But I did want to mention that, and then, as was mentioned earlier, as we get into May, and we'll have another meeting before this, we will be having the opportunity for the groundbreaking for North Point, but we'll get more info on that later. 6.2 is EDA comments. Any comments by the EDA? And then 6.3 is response to previous EDA comments. There was none, I don't believe. 7 was a workshop. We do not have one this morning, so I will look for a motion ready to adjourn. Who'd like to make the motion?
Well, since I was late, I'll motion to adjourn here.
All right, so we have a motion to adjourn by EDA member Carey. Do I have a second?
Second that motion?
Second by EDA member Myers. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? We're adjourned. And Jamie, I'm assuming you did get